Greetings, fellow Observatory workers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Synergy. Episode 6, Building a Science District. We are running very low on... We're basically out of toxic water, so I'm going to shut that one down. So we really don't have any more water to... what's going on? We don't really have any more water to hit, to convert. I might need to do a quick save and load. I'm running into some performance issues. Or not, because I can't seem to click anything. What does it think I'm clicking on right now? I'm like stuck in a sub-menu. So there's the awnings that we wanted. And the houses here should be a little bit better as a result. But I am trying to cancel some selections here. It was one of the issues that I mentioned at the start of the stream, which is there are performance problems that you run into. I'm just a little worried that my UI is locked, and I don't know when my last autosave was. And I can't hit escape. Or anything. My hotkeys aren't working. Okay, we're gonna pull the hard ripcord and reboot. I should have been doing more periodic savings just in case, because this was a problem I ran into in playtesting. I just, you know, it gives you about... It's similar to like when I was playing Star Sector. It gives you like 3 hours of gameplay until things start to get rough. Okay. Much better. So, research. How's bricks coming? We need heritage points. Got it. We have 2 more days of this summer season, and then water's going to be a lot easier to come by. So I am going to risk getting the heritage points through barter. And our expedition did reach the Pearl of the Plains. The Inselberg, standing on the explorer's path, is marked with undulations, as if some wavy liquid has suddenly frozen. The party observes a cavity at the top of the rocky formation. Considering the watery behavior of the strange hill, it is rather reasonable to suppose that this small pit is, in fact, the entry point of a projectile. Still, they would need to cut through the stone to make sure, and that would take quite some time, as well as proper tools. So, choice. I can either dig on the site using 10 of my 30 tools, or leave, allowing us to return at some future date. Looks like you guys want me to dig. The digging is long and difficult, but it produces plenty of rocks, which will be useful for construction. As the explorers begin to lose hope of finding the life form they are looking for, they come across a cold bluish-black metallic surface. The object looks very much like a meteorite, but seems to house some special sort of mechanism at its core. Why has its impact been so atypical? Where are the craters and the tectonic cracks? We got a technological artifact. And we are going to return to the city. Alright, we're going to decompose the sour pods for compost. And I need 2 more heritage points for, or 1 more heritage point for the research, brick research. Oh, there's the awnings. Yes, so now these houses are just as satisfactory as the other ones we've had. Alright, crystallized is available. Done. Unlocked. So we want to make bricks. So crystallized opens up new recipes for the forge. So we're going to switch to brick, stone cutting to make bricks. And I'm going to hire one more person to work on that. So we're turning boron rocks and resin into bricks. And the reason for this is so that we can then spend the bricks to unlock Observatory Square, which is the priority that we have right now. Looking around the map, trying to restrict the movement of thorns that are encroaching due to this dry season. It's pushing in on our hatted trees and giant fungus, and I'm just trying to keep that from spreading. One of my districts is overpopulated. Copy that. And we're back in the temperate seasons. So there's another summer season coming up in the future. But given that we're back in normal seasons, what I want to do immediately is just to start to do a massive amount of clean water harvest. Hiring back 8 people into the clean water harvest and firing everyone that was in the purification basins, because we are not going to be relying on purifying toxic water anymore. All right, we do have some overpopulation, so let's go ahead and build some additional stone houses out here in the lovely zone. I don't know if I can't... let's see. I think because of where I put my tables, I'm going to move them. Down there. Okay, I think that'll work. More reports. Trickster root. Dies outside of the mossy biome. So we know that the trickster root won't spread outside of the mossy biome. And we got another technological artifact. Let's send another expedition out to a swamp. So in terms of biomes, is there a biome overlay? Well, this is the mossy biome, so it won't spread into here on its own. So we just need to contain it where it is if we don't want it to spread everywhere. And then additionally, I'm going to rip out the brambles. Brambles won't spread during the temperate biomes, or temperate periods. I think what I'm going to do to restrict it is I'm going to kill all of the thorns in this area, leaving the thorns over here, because thorns still might be a resource we want. So killing all of the invasive plants will prevent us from using that resource, which maybe is not a wise idea to do. So for the next big research, we need lots of heritage points and some science points. So the heritage points really going to be the bottleneck here, meaning I might, in order to get those heritage points, want to rely on water pontoon trade for heritage points collection. So I'm going to build yet another pontoon so we can just crank the water. That way we can reach our goals sooner. And I'm also going to research getting tools, which unlocks new ways to collect resources from plants. Because being able to fully utilize the plants is, like, pretty important for long-term survival. So this is for shearing. So the planters... If I'm going to quickly clear out the picker's cabin just to see what shearing can do. So provides 150% of the displayed resources it costs tools to do it, and it reduces the chance of injury and intoxication. So if there's an injury or intoxication chance, it will prevent it. You know, if the chance is 50%. So, like, for instance, if we were shearing the whipping guards with tools, we would avoid the wounds. And then likewise, if we take a look at our arborists, shearing, you know, same sort of benefit. I'm going to actually reset this because how much? I think we have so many. Yeah, we have so many saw fibers. I'm going to prune the head of trees and then notch these trees over here because we've got an enormous amount of fibers and we need more resin. And I'll notch the hydras for resin as well. Okay, we've done most of the ground analysis, but I'm getting the what is remaining, which isn't much, but we'll get that done. All right, let's get this clean water. So these stone houses are missing some of the knowledge because they fall outside of the range of the research center and the field lab. So this field lab could move a little bit. The district, does this district require the field lab? No. So this field lab could move so that it covers all of the houses equally, like right here. And that way, the houses down here will start benefiting from the field lab. That way, all the houses have roughly the same satisfaction level. So the observatory is mostly bottlenecked on science points and heritage points. We've got like the bricks and stuff like that. And we're not going to be able to get the irrigation canals until we get the past and future for the observatory square. So it's really just getting the science and observation done. So fulfilling the knowledge needs will speed up our acquisition of research points. So making sure that our field laboratory has someone sitting in it. Actually, I'm going to have to reset it because we had moved it while they were doing the ground analysis. But making sure that someone's in it at all times will then mean we get more research points per day. So we're getting the full 50% knowledge bonus because all the houses now have their knowledge needs filled. Okay, here we are. Reeds. This area is overrun with reeds growing in such different shapes from each other that the untrained eye would consider them different species. One bunch looks like a straw puppet, another winged creature, while another is bent in on itself, as if it was some kind of fiber reel. As they were taking a closer look, the explorers meet a barely conscious woman, whose arthritic hands are gripping an empty flask. She says she is looking for the body of her brother, who drowned in the area a dozen or so years ago. So we have got a choice. I'm going to rank these 1, 2, 3, 4. We could build a raft with branches, search for the brother on foot, which I will get rotten resources and mushrooms, give some water to her, or convince them to leave for the city. Depending on a random draw, the next choice will have a different results. This will be up to you. So what do you think? Looks like we'll give some water. Without proper gear, finding the body in such a dense, difficult to navigate place would be nigh impossible. However, the explorers take the afternoon to care for the grieving woman, encouraging her to drink water despite her aversion to it and her feelings of nausea, both symptoms of dehydration. The grieving sister seems to have some newfound energy, but insists on pursuing her search. She places some reward into the explorer's arms, who have no choice but to let her go. We gained tools. Well, thanks for the tools. A lot of the other research here costs the same heritage and research points that some cost tablets, and we haven't found the requisite tablets. So there's really not much to do about that at the moment. Once they're back, I'll have them redeploy out, though. Alright, looks like the thorns down here were all harvested. Good. The game was saying we were low on branches. So let's have them go back out to the island. This is the last point of interest near our city. Also looks like we were low on meals, so I'm going to crank those up a bit more. So, branches is... I'm going to prune the sunshade trees here for branches as well. I'm very low on bark. Picker cabin. There's not a lot of cinder, so let me change this. We're going to be picking these cinders for... Oh, yeah. There we go. Giant fungus wants to be in high organic matter, and bonus when in living soil. And the expedition's already out. So we've got 67 of the 150 heritage and 45 of the 80 science. So once we get all the science, I can trade for the remaining heritage. So I'm only going to do the trade once we hit the science requirement. Why, hello, Alana. Thank you for the raid. Unexpected. Wow, look at all the raider messages. I love it. What were you playing today? Some Space Haven. Oh, nice. My community has been like begging me to play Space Haven. So those in my chat that have wanted me to play Space Haven, maybe go watch her VODs. I played Space Haven before. I really like it. It's a cute game that's like... so for my chat that doesn't know, it's kind of like RimWorld mixed with like FTL in a way, where you build a ship and you have to travel around exploiting resources to expand upon your ship and face like... you know, dangers from raiders and hostile creatures and the like, and resource scarcity of running out of water, etc. It is a lot of fun. It's come a long way, and maybe it's sometime I'll cover it myself. But until that time, we now have a place for you to watch some VODs, I guess. So thank you for the raid. I appreciate it, and welcome. This game, if you're wondering, for the raiders, here's a little blurb, but it's a relaxing city builder where you're building in like an alien wasteland, and you have to work in synergy with the ecosystem in order to survive by being sort of proper caretakers of the plants and forests. And at the moment, I'm trying to build an observatory square in the game for the next big priority, which requires me to obtain a certain amount of like science and heritage points, which is like research points, if you will, which is up here. So once my science points goes up to about 80, I'm going to trade for the remaining heritage points, or as many as I can afford. So here is I sent my people out to an expedition, Sunken Wisdom. Hoping to refill their water supplies, the explorers head towards a lake. Sadly, the water's transparency is deceptive, as it contains a mixture of acids that even the best filtering processes can't handle. Unwilling to attempt drinking such water, the party is about to leave when a red, scaly creature suddenly bursts out of the water. For a split second, an abdomen marked with protuberant silverish veins appears on the surface before disappearing beneath the blinding reflecting of the sun again. The explorers are intrigued by this unknown creature, but their thirst wears them out, and it's still not too late to look for some fresh water in nearby streams. We are going to explore the area. However calm the water looks, the creature seems to be hiding perfectly within its depths. While the explorers are searching for it, something else catches their attention. A turquoise glow seems to shine through the rocks. It is a familiar color that makes the whole party wonder whether there can be a tablet beneath the surface. Collecting it would require at least one explorer to stay underwater for a considerable amount of time, and the water's acid content can't be underestimated. What will we choose to do? Option 1. Put on protective gear, which uses 10 tools. 2. Without the protective gear, which is a chance roll, or come back later. And cheers. Alright, we're going to wear some protection. I like that. The diver seems confident her suit can protect her. Equipped with some mining tools, she manages to extract the tablet from the lake in less than an hour. And we'll return to the city. So, tablets, if you're wondering, are special research projects unlocked, like botanical discovery, or like heavy burden, or like sun awnings, which can only be unlocked with the tablets, which are like historical research projects that we discover. You can think of them that way. Ah, pleasure to have you here as well, Rawl. What were you recently playing? Ah, RimWorld last? Sweet. Well, I think you, me, and Alana play a lot of RimWorld. Gotta pump up those hours, yeah? I know how it is. It's odd that they changed the shade coverings to research tablets. Yeah, I think it might be to push you to use the trees, the hatted and sunshade trees, rather than rely upon manually constructed shade. So, like, it might be odd, but I totally get it from a design standpoint of trying to be in balance with the ecosystem earlier on, rather than to engineer solutions. Alright, we are getting pretty close to our 80 science points. We're at 73, so pretty soon we'll make a big push for the heritage points and try to get the observatory square going. Another report. Hydro trees like rich soil and mineral rich, and they hate moist soil. They made it easier to actually plant everything in 1.0? Yes. Yeah, seeding is not that hard to do. I haven't been doing it, to be fair, but it is not that hard to do. Alright, so we have a new research to be done. I'm just going to arbitrarily send people out to this desert area, which has a tablet. So there's a desert area with a tablet, a forest area with trade, and a desert area with technological artifacts. We don't really need technological artifacts. I'm way more intrigued by the tablet. So let's send 3 people out to initially scout this desert area for the tablet that it might contain. And then the tablet that we got is the sun awnings. All right. So we can either decipher for the sun awnings or turn it into heritage or technological points. I'm going to go for sun awnings because we have the science points for the next research project, and I'll try to trade for the heritage ones. So we need 47 heritage points. Here we go. Barter. About half of our water, which is rough, but past and future is now available and is unlocked. That allows us to build an observatory square. And then the next project requires 150 points for irrigation and irrigation canals. But that also means that we can reduce... I'm not going to bother reducing the amount of people working in the Hall of Wisdom because I have a lot of spare workers at the moment. But the Founder Square now can be upgraded to an Observatory Square, which is done. So the Observatory Square is fundamentally... And let me hide my head so you can see the whole thing. It's fundamentally different from the Display Square. So the Display Square has a lot of workplace bonuses and social bonuses. The Observatory Square wants science expeditions, libraries, research centers, explorers' huts, etc., etc. So it has a totally different subset of buildings it wants to be near for improvement. So one thing I could do is to start moving said buildings, like the purification basins, within the sphere of influence of the Observatory Square, to then have the Observatory Square gain said bonus, which I think is a smart thing to do. So it also, for instance, wants the research center, which my original square didn't care about. So I could also put my research building somewhere down here as well. Right there. And get all these changes made so that the Observatory Square is, nope, Yoda, not me. The Observatory Square is getting the bonuses. So, for instance, it also wants a field laboratory, which is going to be a little rough, because if I move the field laboratory down here, my original houses won't benefit from it, but I'm going to do that anyway. So this Observatory Square goes up in points, and my city prosperity count goes up. It also wants the Explorer's Hut, so let's move that as well. Put that there. And because I moved the Exploratory's Hut, my expedition was canceled, that's fine. A bartering outpost, we'll move that as well. School, weather station, don't have that yet. Foundry, I do have a foundry. I think my display square also wants the foundry. Oh, it wants a forge. Never mind, foundry is different, sorry. Sand factory, sand extractor, don't have that. The purification basins, which are getting moved. Purifying particle balloon, I don't have that stuff. Don't have the resilient stuff. I don't have the geothermal generator or single antenna. But yeah, I did move all the things that were relevant to the Observatory Square down there, to try to boost up its tiers so that we get more bang for our buck out of this new zone. Jamney, thank you for the resub. Cheers. Oh, and twins too. So there we go. The Observatory Square only needed 3 purification basins. We put 4 of them in. So, a little overkill, but that's fine. And then the research center and the field lab were moved. So, that's done too. The explorers and the bartering are both getting moved. The bartering is almost done being moved. And that should push it up to a little higher. Almost to tier 2. It needs 50 more points to hit tier 2. So, I could try to plant cinder sprouts or cactus, giant fungus. I could try to plant things near it. Or maybe build singing antenna. Where is singing antenna anyway? I'm not even sure. It's one of these options, maybe? There it is. Which requires tools and a lot of science points that I don't have. Got it. Given that that is pretty expensive, I could try to plant things near it. Or build aquatic planters, particle balloons, purifying mushrooms. So let's see where that is on the list. That might be even further research-wise. I forget off the top of my head exactly where that is, but it honestly might be harder to get. Is that from this tree? I know the experimental cell was one of the adjacent bonuses. It might be hard to get tier 2 within a reasonable time frame. God, where is it? Wish there was like a text search for relevant research. I do know that my original city... Oh, here's the... Street lamps was something that my original district wanted, and that requires about 100 more heritage points, which is a high cost, but, like, obtainable. The autonomous gardens would allow me to start to grow specific crops and have a wider variety of things available to me. But I do know that I ultimately need to be saving up for the irrigation canals for the quest, so maybe I'll just settle on the bonuses I have so far, and wait for the science to be trickling in. Yeah, there's... So sun awnings, if you're wondering what they are, is they provide shade. So, like, there is a house here that could actually benefit from a sun awning. So I'll build a token sun awning there to provide this stone house with shade. Oh, and let's put someone back in the... Oh, right, I messed up my field lab again for, like, the nth time. So, what needs studying? The brambles, the cinders, the giants. And then my explorers did reset because I moved that as well, so we'll redeploy them out. I am so close to knowledge max plus 10 for the next tier. So here's the bonus of the sun awning. This house is now cooler. Almost as cool as its surrounding houses. And if we take a look at the shade overlay, as you can see, it's providing a box of shade now around it. Plus, it's also giving well-being for shade that this house didn't have before, but it was already maxed out tiered well-being, so that's kind of moot. Oh, now that we moved our research center, oh my god, I forgot to do this. Let's fill it up with people. I was like, why is my research points not moving? Yes, because I didn't employ anyone. Makes sense. After I moved everyone, I'm just making sure that the workplaces aren't screwed up for everyone. And I don't think they are. I still have 9 available, like, housing slots. Almost all the houses down here in the research district are actually open, so I don't really need to build new houses either. So I think we're good on that front. Bark is really bad. Where might we obtain extra bark? Just from the sprouts? I'm setting up 3 pickings and hiring another picker. Ever since I killed all the brambles down here, the fungus is thriving. It's having no problem spreading, which is ultimately a problem in its own right because it is an invasive plant. It's just a useful invasive plant, so like, for now I'll let it go. But I will have to keep an eye on that to make sure it doesn't get out of control. Thank you for tuning in to Synergy, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors of this alien wasteland.